Be honest with me for a second. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast, but immediately said to yourself, there's no way. I just don't have the time. You've got a full calendar, back-to-back meetings, family commitments, maybe even running your own business, and yet you keep seeing podcasts everywhere. You know it could help you reach more people, grow your influence, and share your message, but the thought of adding podcast hosts to your already packed schedule feels impossible. Well, what if I told you that you can actually run a podcast even with your schedule? Yes, your schedule. You said you were too busy. You can still do it, and you can do it without burning out. The secret is working with a podcast producer. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it works and why it saves you hours every single week and how you can finally share your voice without sacrificing your time. Hey everyone, well, welcome back to I Made a Podcast. My name is Creary, and I help busy professionals, entrepreneurs, businesses, and leaders launch powerful podcasts that actually grow their brand without drowning in the technical side of things. Now, over the years, I've seen the same pattern. People have amazing ideas, stories, messages to share, but they stop themselves before they even begin because they think that they don't have time. And that's fair. Podcasting can be time consuming if you try to do everything yourself. But here's the good news. You don't have to. A podcast producer can take the bulk of the work off of your plate so that your only job is to bring your voice and the ideas to the microphone. And today I'll walk through the exact reason why this is a game changer if you're busy, plus some practical tips for making podcasting realistic in your life. So number one is the time barrier, why most busy people quit before they even start. So let's start with the obvious. You are busy. Most of us are. Between a demanding job, family, responsibilities, maybe even volunteering or a side business, there's not a lot of wiggle room left. Now add podcasting into the mix. On average, producing just one episode can take maybe 6 to 10 hours for new podcasters. That includes researching topics, preparing notes, setting up your equipment, recording, editing, writing show notes, uploading to different platforms, and promoting it on social media. That's basically a part-time job stacked onto your life. So it makes sense that many people stop before they even start. They love the idea of having a podcast, but they think there's no way that I can find 10 hours a week to do this. But here's the thing. You don't need 10 hours. You need maybe 1 hour if you work with a podcast producer. Now, number two is to focus on your voice, not the tech. One of the biggest reasons podcasting feels overwhelming is the technical side of things. Microphones, mixers, editing software, soundproofing. It is a deep rabbit hole. And unless you're secretly an audio engineer, chances are you don't even want to spend your evenings learning about EQ settings or figuring out why your voice sounds echoey. That's where a podcast producer can step in. Now imagine this. You finish your workday. You grab your mic, you hit record, and you just talk. You share your insights, you share stories, maybe you had a conversation with someone and you want to share some insights that you gathered from that conversation. You just get on the microphone, you hit the record button, and you talk. And then you only stop when you're done. And that's it. Your producer takes the raw audio, cleans it up, edits out the mistakes, balances the sound, adds your intro and outro music, and packages it into a nice, polished, professionally sounding episode. It's the difference between struggling through building your own furniture with an Allen wrench versus someone delivering a fully assembled table straight to your door. You still get the benefit, you just skip the frustration of trying to put a table together with an Allen wrench. I'm not knocking anything or any company, I'm just saying. Right? Anyways, let's get back to this conversation. And when you are busy, this type of service is not a luxury. It is essential. You can't afford to get bogged down in tech. Your time is better spent doing what only you can do and speaking to your people about your message. All right. Now, number three is consistency without the stress. So consistency is what separates hobby podcasters from successful ones. Your audience wants to know that you'll show up week after week without disappearing. But life has its way of derailing even the best intentions. And again, that's where a podcast producer comes in to be your accountability partner. They help you plan ahead, maybe even if it's batch recording several episodes at once, so that you can always stay ahead of schedule. They manage the production timeline, remind you when it's time to record, and make sure that everything goes live on time. Instead of stressing out on a Sunday night because you forgot to upload your episode, you have someone who is in your corner making sure it's already taken care of. That consistency builds trust with your audience, and it helps your show grow even when life is unpredictable. And let's be honest, if you're busy, unpredictable weeks are basically a guarantee. Having someone keep your podcast on track is the only way to stay consistent long term if you have a busy life.
Hey, real quick, if you're a podcaster and you have been feeling like you're doing this alone or you're close to giving up, I get it. Podcasting can feel like a solo mission, but it doesn't have to be. You should check out Podground. At Podground, you'll find other hosts who actually get it. You can connect with podcasters from around the world, apply for grants, learn tips, tools, and strategies, join networking events, meetups, and even trivia nights. You'll get real support, feedback, and connections that matter. Don't quit your show or your dream. Come find your people at podground.io. That's podground.io.
Now, number 4 is professional sound and branding. So your podcast isn't just audio, it's an extension of your brand. Listeners make judgments within the first 60 seconds. If your audio is crackly or unbalanced or hard to follow, they'll switch to another show. A podcast producer makes sure your podcast represents you well. They'll add branded music, create episode artwork, and even pull short highlight clips so you can post on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, or whichever social media platforms you choose to post your content on. Suddenly, your podcast isn't just a recording, it's a professional media product. And here's the kicker. When you sound professional, people treat you as a professional. Your podcast becomes a platform that builds your authority, attracts opportunities, and grows your influence. So instead of worrying about whether you sound legit, you know that every episode you put out matches the quality of your message when you work with a podcast producer. Now, number 5 is it saves hours every single week. All right, so let's do some quick math here. If you're producing your own show, let's say it takes 8 hours per episode. Multiply that by 4 weeks, that's 32 hours a month. Almost a full work week is gone just on your podcast. Now, imagine instead you spend maybe 45 minutes recording your episode and your producer takes care of everything else. That's it. You just basically save 25 to 30 hours every single month. What could you do with that time? Spend it with your family? Work on growing your business, finally get some rest. The point is, podcasting doesn't have to drain your time. With the right support, it actually gives you leverage. You create one piece of content and it keeps working for you long after you've already recorded it. Now, number 6 is a partner in your podcasting journey. And here's something people don't always realize. A podcast producer isn't just a technician. They are also your partner in the creative process. They can help you brainstorm topics, structure your episodes, and refine your delivery. They know what works with audiences and can guide you to create content that resonates with them. So instead of feeling like you're doing this all alone, you've got someone who understands podcasting and who wants to see you succeed. And that kind of partnership makes the journey not only easier for you, but it makes it more enjoyable. So, in closing, here is the big takeaway. Being busy doesn't disqualify you from having a podcast. With the help of a podcast producer, you can focus on your voice and your message while the producer handles everything else. You get the impact of having a podcast without the overwhelm. If you've been waiting for the perfect time to start, let me tell you, it absolutely never comes. Perfect time is when you have the right support system in place, and that's what a podcast producer gives you. If this video gave you some clarity, go ahead and set up a strategy call with me so that we can get the ball rolling on your podcast. There is a link in the description of this episode to my calendar for you to book a time. And also you can hit the button to subscribe and share this with someone else who you've been telling for years that they should start a podcast, but they've been saying that they're too busy. And in the comments below, tell me what's the biggest thing that's holding you back from launching your podcast right now. So thanks so much for watching and for listening. Remember, the best time to start a podcast was 10 years ago, and the second best time is right now. So go ahead and make it happen. And I'll catch you on the next episode of I Made a Podcast. Peace.